Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Thanks for joining me today on this Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week so far. My name is Angela. For those of you that haven't met me, I started this Money Messenger project as a way of imparting some of my knowledge with regards to all money matters, anything related to money. That's because I've been working in financial planning for the last 20 years, so I feel like I've learned a thing or two about money. So I'm here to share with you some of the bits and pieces that I've learned along the way. So today we're talking about cash. Cash is king. We're talking about why it's so important for you to have available cash to access. So for those of you that haven't met me before, you'll see that I do videos every Wednesday, and that's just to share with you some of the things that I've learnt in my career in financial planning. I'm also an investor myself, so everything I teach to you and tell you and talk about, I do myself. So my point is that I walk the walk as well as talk the talk. So I'm teaching to you from the heart and from my experience, as well as my career in financial planning. So let's get started. Today we're talking about cash, why it's so important for you to have access to cash. So we're talking about emergency savings for the most part. Why? Because things in life change. And I've definitely seen that firsthand as I've been writing financial plans for clients. When tragedy strikes or when changes to situations change, financial situations, medical situations, family situations, birth of children, things like that. So life is not fixed. Life does change. The only thing that's guaranteed in life is death and taxes. Everything else in between is variable and changes. So you can't possibly ever afford everything you need in a week-to-week wage. You can't ever make sure your life is secure unless you've got a backup plan for the backup plan, I like to call it. So emergency savings can be any amount that you like. It can be any amount that you need. And I'm going to cover off exactly how much you should save and where to keep that money. But this video is for rich, poor, young, or old. Everybody needs emergency cash. It doesn't matter if you're a wealthy investor with millions of dollars in property and shares and other assets. You still need access to cash. You need access to cash for emergencies. You also need access to cash in case you want to invest more. I'm also talking to people that don't earn millions of dollars and don't have millions of assets. You need emergency cash. Everybody does. Let's cover off on some of the things that could happen. There's small emergencies and there's large emergencies. Small emergencies could be as little as an unexpected bill just popping up from one week to another, something that you weren't expecting or something that was billed a little bit more expensive than you expected. These things can really stretch a week-to-week budget. So you need to have a backup plan just in case, because they do happen. Larger incidences, problems could be you get hurt. You can't go to work for a few weeks, a few months. Now, some people have insurance in place when they have a proper financial plan, such as income protection. That helps you when you can't go to work for a long period of time, like a year or two, or for the rest of your life. But even those policies have a 30-day waiting period. They also have an extra 30-day waiting period or 90-day waiting period, or however long you select for your policy. So for example, I see a lot of clients that have an income protection policy with a 30-day waiting period, which means they have to wait 30 days, be unable to work before they can claim their insurance. All policies pay 1 month in arrears. That means they have to wait up to 60 days before they get paid their income protection, their replacement income. 60 days is a long time. Most people can't go, the maximum I hear on most occasions that they can go 30 days without income before it's going to affect them financially or, in a negative way. So up to 60 days is really going to hurt if you don't have any income. Emergency savings will save you the day. It will save you no matter if you've got an unexpected small bill that's popped up that you just weren't prepared for, or if something crisis mode happens and you are without income for a couple of months at a time. Think about also if you get sick and can't work and you use up your sick leave, but then it ends, then what? So emergencies can be something from a fridge breaking down to major car repairs coming in that you weren't expecting, right through to absolute tragedy, something putting you in the hospital for a while. And before insurances and bigger long-term protection kicks in, you need money now. What about if somebody in your family passes away? They may have life insurance, great. but you may need to pay for the funeral now. That can be $10,000, $15,000. So let's get back to basics and just start with emergency savings, in that everybody needs a cash buffer in case something pops up, arises, unexpected expense, something that you weren't prepared for, and you need to pay that bill. If you don't have emergency savings ready to go, whether it be an expense of a couple $100 or $1,000, for example, let's keep it smaller for now. Things like credit cards become tempting to use. Things like Afterpay becomes attractive to use, or other pay, buy now, pay later type things. That's when you can get stuck with debt. So not only do you have to pay the emergency, the bill, but then you're left with the debt afterwards to have to worry about and carry around on your shoulders. And, that's just going to make matters worse. What if something happens and you have a few little expenses all pop up and you need to pay them all at once? A couple of multiple things happen. You need the emergency savings. If you're a little wealthier and you have assets and shares, property, whatever, you may think, I'm fine, I don't need emergency savings, I've got all my investments going, I don't want to keep much cash because I want to keep investing for the long term. Great, but if something happens and you need to access cash quickly, an emergency or an unexpected expense, something in an investment property breaks down, whatever, you also need cash, because it's very hard to sell down assets from a day to day just to be able to get money quickly. There's a saying, like in financial planning with investment properties, it's very hard to sell the front door when you need access to cash. Some assets are very illiquid, meaning you need access to liquid assets such as cash in case something happens. So emergency savings is for everyone. You really need to get it done. It's basically the first step in any financial plan. Before you have emergency savings in place and showing that you can regularly save, it's very hard to invest. It's very hard to be able to buy insurances and protect you and your family correctly. It's very hard to do anything long-term if you don't have the short-term taken care of first. So let's talk about how much. Because saying, yes, I've got emergency savings is one thing, but how much do you have? $100, $200, $10,000? The first thing is to try and save up $1,000. That's all you have to do. That should be your main focus, is to save up $1,000. You must hold your emergency savings in a separate bank account. You must. You cannot possibly hold those savings together with your long-term savings, with your holiday savings, with your any other savings that you're doing, with your bills account, whatever you're doing with your money. You must have your emergency savings, separate them. So your first task is to save $1,000. How do you do that? Well, you need to budget. You need to go through your expenses. You need to track and see what you spend for a while. It could be a month or two. You need to see where your money's going, because a lot of people these days, we see rising debt levels and people spending more money than they earn quite often. And everybody can cut back from somewhere. Everybody can. It just depends on how much desire you have to change your financial future. So you need to check your budget. Write down what you spend, track your expenses, check where your money's going. Cut back if need be, if you don't have much surplus income, because everybody should be able to save 10 to 20% of their income. That's a healthy budget. And if you're not saving that much, then you might be overextending your budget and putting yourself into financial strife. And I know some people live week to week and they have tighter budgets than other people, lower income, but you need to play with what you've got. So if you're spending a lot and not saving 10 to 20% of your income, then you've got to scale back, especially to get emergency savings put in. So scale back, cut down on some expenses, whatever you need to do to get up some more surplus income. Your task for the day is to think about how you're going to put $1,000 together in a separate bank account, and that can be your emergency savings. Your next step is to try and build that to $2,000. I hope that nobody, when they have their savings in place, their emergency savings, has less than $2,000, because really money doesn't go that far these days. So you really need to aim to have $2,000 as soon as you can. Keep saving a little bit at a time. If you're currently making extra debt repayments, for example, off other loans or credit cards you have, perhaps scale those back a little bit. Just to be able to chuck in 10, 20 bucks a week, whatever you need to do, to a separate bank account, just to get those emergency savings going. Because if you don't, then you're going to find yourself in a position where you have to keep using your credit cards, you have to keep using your debt vehicles, instead of cash. So it's really important to have your emergency savings in place, plus a little bit of repayments of your debts if that's what you're also doing. Once you've got that underway, in financial planning, we say the best thing is to save 1 to 3 months worth of expenses into your emergency account. Might seem like a lot, but it's not. Remember, if something happens, and I'm not talking about a fridge breaking down because you can cover that with your $1,000 or $2,000, but if tragedy hits and you can't work for a period of time and you lose your income, having 1 to 3 months worth of expenses covered in your cash account will not seem like that much. You wish you would have saved more. So the more you earn, the more you should be saving. The more you spend, the more you should be saving. Cut back. Aim for $1,000 first, build up to $2,000. Then over time, and this is done over time, a little bit each week, each month, whenever you're paid, build your emergency savings up to 1 to 3 months worth of expenses. And that's a good cash emergency. Now, this is an emergency account. This is not for holidays. This is not for going out, discretionary expenses. This is for emergencies. This is for when the hits the fan. And you know what word I wanted to say then. So where do you keep your money? Bank accounts are fine, but you can do better. If you have a mortgage, I want you to open up an offset account. That's a bank account that's attached to your mortgage, so that whatever cash you're saving into that offset account is offsetting your mortgage loan balance, so you're going to save some interest costs. If you don't have a mortgage, then open up a high interest bank account, something that's paying you a little bit more interest than just a regular old Joe bank account, which basically pays nothing. Other than that, don't get too fancy with your emergency savings, because you may need to dip into it for emergencies sooner rather than later. So this is not money that you invest for long term. This is money that you have cash on the side for in case of tragedy, emergencies, unexpected expenses pop up. Not for holidays, not for going out on the weekend. If you have a mortgage, I want you to also be aware. Right now, we've got really low interest rates in Australia, really low. A lot of people are geared up to the eyeballs, meaning they've borrowed as much as they could, either for investment properties or mortgages. If interest rates increase just by 1%, say you have a $380,000 home mortgage. If interest rates go up by just 1%, that means repayments will go up as well by about $50 a week. So if you have a mortgage, especially, or any kind of debt, investment loan, mortgage, you really want to have your your emergency savings in place, because if interest rates do go up, and they will over the coming years go up, nobody knows when, but they will, your repayments will go up. Could be by $50 a week, could be more, depending on the size of your loan and interest rate. You'll be happy that you had emergency savings available in case you all of a sudden need to pay extra repayments like that. They can go up in a month's notice before you then can amend your budget so that you can allow yourself the repayments as an ongoing thing. So people with debt, especially mortgages, investment properties, you want to have your emergency savings, and you want to have more than someone that doesn't have a mortgage or a debt in place. Think about also, I said, if you've got insurances, income protection, protection for, loss of income if you can't work. Think about, check the waiting period that you've picked. Is it 30 days? Is it 60 days? Is it 90 days? Do you know that those insurance policies are paid in arrears? So if something happens, you need to fund the first waiting period and an extra 30 days. Those of you that do invest and have assets under your name, do you have emergency savings? Think about the assets you have. Even a share trade can take 3 days or so before you get the money in your bank account. You don't necessarily want to be selling down long-term assets in order to fund a short-term extraordinary expense as well, for example. Think about that. Think about if your fridge breaks down and you spend $900, things like Afterpay, buy now, pay later schemes, they will seem very attractive to you because you will have no other option other than to beg, steal, or borrow from friends and family. Ignoring the problem isn't going to go away, you need a new fridge. Things like Afterpay may seem like a good idea, but they are usually a good idea to a lot of people that don't have emergency savings. I'm talking about like a broken fridge, for example, not going out to buy new clothes. Not only do you have to spend the money and arrange the Afterpay, but then you have the burden of making sure you stick to your repayments. If you don't, you're going to get hit with fees. That's just another stress to have to manage in your day-to-day life. That's just another fee that can be added onto the cost of fridge. It's not needed. All of these problems can disappear if you just have emergency savings. I wanted to do this video today because I read an article that I posted yesterday about 1 in 5 Australians not having any emergency savings. So while some people may see the topic of this video and go, yep, got it under control, got my emergency savings, the fact is most people don't. There's a statistics that's come out from BT Fund Management. They did a survey recently and they surveyed 2,000 people. They found 21% of people have no savings at all. They're living week to week. 23% of them have less than 1 month's worth of savings, 1 month's worth of expenses saved, and 56% of people have more than 1 month's worth of expenses saved. So this advice, this teaching, this education comes from the statistics that are out there. Don't be a statistic. Don't be like other people. Money is a game. How you play it depends on which rules you follow. So you can get more out of your money life if you just take control of your finances and put a few little changes into place. Thanks to the people that were joining me today. I can see a few names popped up. Thanks for the lovely comments. Todd asked if the book is ready. Quick note on that, next week, it's coming out next week. For those of you that don't know, I've written a book sharing some of my personal tips, tricks, and secrets when it comes to finances, things that I do personally and that I've done for many years that I know work. So I've written these all into a book and that is getting published and it should be out next week. So stay tuned for more. I will definitely tell you about that. And I've also asked if I have a tracking spending sheet, and like an Excel spreadsheet, which I use for tracking. Yes, I do. I also have an awesome app that I've been using for the last few weeks and months and trying out, and I'm going to put some notes about that as well. I may even do a video on this, Todd, for the app that I'm talking about, because I really do think it's good. The first thing to do when you're trying to, sort out your budget and nut out where your money is going is to track your expenses. Track them for a month or 2 or 3. That's the only way you can possibly know where your money is going. Otherwise, everything is all up to imagination and what we think is occurring, which is quite often very different. So thank you everyone for joining me today. Please share these videos around. I do them every Wednesday. I do them for free because I'm trying to increase the financial literacy of Australians and people around the world. I'm just trying to share some of the little bits and pieces that I've learned along the way with you. I started a poll on this video which asked if you have any emergency savings. If you can see that, please tick yes or no so I can get an idea of what's going out there in the marketplace. So thank you for joining me today live. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the Money Messenger website, www.moneymessenger.com.au, and then I'll send you all these financial tips, tricks, and secrets to your inbox. I'll see you next week. Thank you for those that join me live, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you very much. Bye.